Hey, so I wanted to do a video on the hazards of PCO technology, what I've learned in my environment, and how that's kind of guiding how I'm gonna be making recommendations up until I get a better indoor air quality tester to really understand what's happening, not just in my home, but in other people's homes. So, what I've learned is when I use a mixed bag combination of ti- platinum coated titanium and uh, titanium dioxide um, filters, catalysts, in a PCO. And when I say mixed, I mean not stacked on top of each other, but kind of next to each other. So it's not running through one into the other. Both were being exposed. The formaldehyde levels in my house increased, and at first I thought, okay, I'm losing effectiveness uh, for some reason because of the reduction in the net volume of the platinum catalyst. So I took platinum catalyst out. I put in a portion of titanium dioxide in its absence, and formaldehyde went up. So I was thinking, okay, it's the removal of the platinum that caused it. But when I removed the titanium dioxide, the formaldehyde levels went down. Not down to where they were, where I had the additional platinum catalyst in there, but down lower than it was previously. So I did some additional research, and I found out that yes, in fact, you can make formaldehyde from VOCs. So if you have volatile organic compounds, and the right ones apparently, and you expose those VOCs to titanium dioxide in a photocatalytic oxidizer, you can, and I did, make formaldehyde. Now, the mechanism that other people have used to address this, not in whole house systems, I take that back, yes, in whole house systems, but only one manufacturer that I saw, TV, watch out, was the use of activated carbon as a second layer to the filter. So basically, what the technology was demonstrating was that you have your UV light, then after the UV light, you have a titanium dioxide cell. That titanium dioxide is going to be generating formaldehyde as a byproduct from the reduction of VOCs in your air. The formaldehyde is then adsorbed by an activated carbon filter that is directly behind the titanium dioxide cell. And it sits there for a period of time. Now, the titanium dioxide is constantly generating additional radicals that are also going through the activated carbon and breaking down the formaldehyde that it itself generated, as the claim of the manufacturer of that particular technology. And it makes sense to me that the technology is a reactor, and that reactor can produce additional compounds that just take more time to break down. So you need to slow down the movement of those formaldehyde cells or formaldehyde compounds and expose them to the PCO for a longer period of time in order to break them down. Okay, so I'm going to be utilizing a combination in my house. I've demonstrated by my own test, admittedly with a cheap tester, that platinum coated titanium or PCOs can break down formaldehyde. And I've demonstrated that titanium dioxide PCOs can generate formaldehyde. But I don't want the precursors, those VOCs, which some are good and some are bad. You don't know. And in my opinion, if they're making formaldehyde as a possibility, I don't want those precursors floating around. They'll naturally form formaldehyde eventually, right? Or not, and either way they smell. So yeah, so I want to remediate the VOCs that can make formaldehyde and the formaldehyde itself. So what I'm going to do is keep my platinum catalysts on my humidifier. I'm going to add 2 more so it was back to where it was with 4. And then directly underneath, so that's over here on my humidifier, and I got my UV light here. Underneath my humidifier, I'm going to do a little magnetic rack, and just for the length of the light, I'm going to do another PCO cell. I'm going to do, but this one's going to be titanium dioxide over a double layered activated carbon mat. It's not going to block the entire return. It's only going to be like an 8-inch filter in a 20-inch duct. So air will easily be able to go around it, but the UV light will be going directly on it. And the airflow, because it will have the ability to go around it, the airflow moving through the titanium dioxide PCO and the second layer activated carbon will be at a much lower speed because the path of least resistance is actually to go around it. But that, I'm hoping, will act as a mechanism to remediate VOCs. And the second unconnected PCO that's running off the same light through the bypass is remediating formaldehyde. And I should have all that stuff by Wednesday and be able to test it. What I won't have by Wednesday, and will probably take me a couple paychecks to get, is a really high-end indoor air quality analyzer. I'd like to get the Testo one, and I'm about to go shopping for it, and I'm sure I'm going to see $1,500-$1,600 and just not at all be interested. But if they retail $1,500-$1,600 and I can find a used one for $500 or $600, I'll do it. I'll make that investment, not just for myself, but to eventually further my career, and to offer more value to my community. But it's one of those. It's a luxury thing. I've never seen an HVAC technician, and I've worked with a lot of them, with a high-end indoor air quality tester. That's usually left to like home inspectors or people who do specific indoor air quality remediation jobs, like people who do radon removal. Those guys might have one, but I've never seen like a service tech carrying like, oh, you got VOCs in your house. We offer products, but we don't test before and after, and that's not right. That's not science. That's not service. That's just sales. So combining sales with a service, meaning I have to make an investment and be able to prove it's a needed product and prove afterwards that the product is functional. And that's a service. So I like it. I think I'm going to make that sort of investment in the near future and develop a sales system around indoor air quality analysis and remediation. And I think it just is the right thing to do for the health of the community.